Shut up and sit down.
There we go. Dude, man, really happy to have you on the podcast.
I'm glad to be here, man.
Awesome, man. I mean, it's so cool. Like that knockout, bro. I gotta tell you, I'm a big fan of bare knuckle, and I've been watching it for quite some time. Obviously, it's blowing up now. It's on a much grander scale. You know, they had the pay-per-view, now the BKFC 7. Dude, your fight was the highlight of the night, hands down. Everybody that I've spoken to, that knockout was unbelievable. It's definitely got to be nominated for knockout of the year, man. So congratulations on your victory.
Well, I appreciate that.
Never in my life have I seen a referee wave off a fight so fast. That guy didn't even hit the floor and he was already waving it off. It was unbelievable, man.
Bill Clancy's definitely he's a great ref, and I think he actually got upset because I guess people were just a little stunned, but nobody was jumping into the ring fast enough. And like at one point he yelled for a stool, and like I started turning around looking like I'll give you my stool. Like I just and that was the thing. Like I went and I checked on Jonathan like three, 4 times that night just to make sure he was okay. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we're coworkers. We're not enemies. We're not, we don't hate each other. I mean, I didn't know him before I stepped in the cage, but at the end of the night, our ring, at the end of the night, he earned my respect and I earned his, and I wanted to make sure he was good before I ever went out and started celebrating.
Yeah, man, I saw that. That's a class act for you right there, bro, because I actually saw that. I heard, I think it was Clancy, right? He said he needed a stool, and you grabbed, right away. Your boys were there with the stool. You grabbed it. I mean, it's classy stuff right there, man. So definitely hats off to you. What was it like though when you cracked him in the jaw and you just saw him dropping? Like, what was the first thing that entered your mind? That's it. It's over. You knew right away, or what was going on in your head, man?
It was more like I was stunned. Like, I mean, I'd gone out there in the first round and I knocked him down 3 times. And I mean, I had told some close friends of mine, and I don't normally talk like that before a fight, but I told a couple of close friends of mine about a week or 2 before. I was like, I'm taking him out in the second round. That was every bit of my intentions. And at the end of the first round, I sat down and I looked at my corners, Johnny and Dustin, and I told them, I said, I'm ending it in the second round. And Dustin goes, oh, I know you are. And when I went out there and I dropped him the first time, I knew that it was just a matter of time. I didn't know when. I just knew that eventually one punch was going to be the last one. And I watched him throw my corner. Dustin kept telling me he was loading up the left hook. And so I saw him getting ready to load that left hook up. And then he actually ended up trying to throw the right upper. And I threw the 1-2. And when I felt it, I felt my hand sink. And as I pulled away, I saw his eyes glaze over, and I was stunned because I was like, this is it. And the next thing I know, he hits the floor, and I'm in shock because I'm like, I've been chasing a knockout for 20 fights. I've beaten opponents every way known, from verbal tap to not answering the bell, but I've never had a knockout. And so
what a knockout to get, man. I mean, if you're going to score a knockout, that's the knockout to get, because I mean, and credit to him. He's a very good fighter. Vistante, I've seen his fights before, but dude, when you connected and that dude just went face first into the mat, that is the worst way for a guy to fall when he gets knocked out. And, dude, again, it was great to watch. I actually, right before we got on the horn here, I texted my friend the highlights of that, and he was just like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah. I'm going to say, I'm about to talk to this Mississippi boy in a few minutes, man. I just want to let you know what's up. But, yeah, man, I was crying. What was that like, being in front of your hometown, getting that victory? I mean, what was that like for you?
It was amazing. I'm still in shock, I guess, and I'm trying to keep a level head, not get built up in the hype, because I got teammates that'll gladly deflate me. But a lot of my hometown family because I actually live about 3 hours from Biloxi.
Okay.
A lot of my hometown family from Lake and Scott County, they drove down, and I just to have them there, like guys that I graduated high school with that, they knew me as a fighter, but it was always just local shows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was ever willing to come out. They came out and saw that, and it was a great a great performance to put on to let everybody at Bare Knuckle know that I was here and I wasn't crazy for wanting to do this thing called Bare Knuckle.
Damn right. Damn right. Bare knuckle's great, man. What do you think about it? Like, obviously you're a fighter, right? So you follow the UFC, I'm sure, Bellator, boxing, possibly, right? But what's it for you, bare knuckle fighting? I mean,
So I was the I was I am the nerdy, awkward white boy. Like I grew up. I've been in martial arts since I was a kid, but I never got in fights. Shoot, my first time getting hit with a bare fist was April 6th for BKFC 5. I'd never been in a street fight before then. Kind of glad too, because at least when I get hit bare fisted, I'm getting paid for it. But my whole life, I've constantly felt like I needed to prove how tough I was. I guess because I'm such a nice and kind of quiet, or I ain't gonna say quiet, but like I said, I was the guy that as growing up I got picked on and I didn't fight back. So when I was able to get in the ring, anything that could prove to the world that I was the toughest guy in this sport, I wanted to do. And when I first saw bare knuckle, I looked at my buddy. It was BKFC 3. We went down there and watched. I said, dude, I want to do this. Everybody thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
And I finally messaged Ricky Duran, who is the matchmaker, kind of the local matchmaker down in Biloxi. And I said, dude, how much does this pay? Because if it pays the same as MMA, I'm not getting hit in the face bare fist for chump change. Yeah. And when he sent me the price, I said, dude, sign me up. I'll fight. I'll fight. And at the time, they didn't really have weight classes. So I told them, let me do 70s because I didn't see the point in cutting a lot of weight since I didn't have to get took down. But now I found 60. They have a weight class at 165, and I've definitely found my home in that weight class.
Nice, man. And what do you think of like the management behind the scenes? How is everything? Is professional?
Everybody wanted to get all up in it about on BKFC 5 when Mr. Feldman stopped in the middle of the fights and talked about taking away part of a purse. He since then changed his mind, even though that was in their contract. I'll say this. Bare Knuckle has treated their fighters with the utmost respect and took care of them. I actually, on my last fight for them, was told by somebody that I was going to be given 3 nights in a hotel. Well, I drive down Thursday night at midnight, and they don't have my name down because apparently I was actually, since I was on the undercard, I was only supposed to have 2 nights. The next day, I called Mr. Feldman to make sure that everything was okay. He said, no, don't worry about it. We got you covered. And he took care of the room, did not take it out of my purse or anything. All the cornermen, the cut men, the matchmakers, Nate Shook, they've all been willing to answer any questions that I've had because this is my first time really being on big shows. And everything's it's been really cool and real respectful. Like they took care of their fighters.
That's great, man. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. Stitch Duran's my boy. He was on the podcast a few weeks ago, and he was saying the same thing. He's been around. He's been in boxing, UFC, the whole nine, and he's like they really are on the up and up at bare knuckle. Feldman's doing a great job. As a fan, I could say that I really enjoy the product. It looks great. I see a couple of kinks they got to still work out, sound wise and all that stuff. But I think it was so smart that they did that, free stream, for everybody. I don't know. Do you by any chance know how many people viewed? I didn't get the number yet.
I don't. I wish there was a way that I could find out just because I would like to know personally. But I'm sure that they'll announce it within the next couple of days. I do know from looking at Twitter, Facebook, Google, and all that, there were several people talking about that. A lot of folks just quit watching the UFC fights that night to go watch bare knuckle.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I feel ashamed because I kind of wish I'd have seen the Mike Perry fight because I want to know what happened for him to get his nose looking like Andrei Arlovsky, but that had to be a tough fight.
Dude, I sent this over to my buddy, and I was reading it and I laughed at it, but I don't even know how true it is, but it's your highlights from your knockout, and it says fighter gets knocked the fuck out during bout, immediately retires 5 hours later. Is that true? He retired?
Okay, so I want to go on record. All this stuff, it's cool and all that, and I love all the love that everybody showed me for my knockout. But at the end of the day, I kind of don't like the articles and the way they've titled it.
Yeah,
I don't like. That's not me ever saying. I would never say something like that. But yes, Jonathan did go to Twitter and he posted. I don't know when he posted it. I was told by a buddy of mine that was on Twitter that he retired, and the second I heard about it, I immediately went and I messaged him, and I told him he's a Warriors warrior. I wish his family all the best if that's what he decides. I'm hoping that that's just maybe in the moment. I'd really like to see him step back because I know he could come back and show out in other fights as well. You know, I don't ever like to hear that a fighter retires off of a hard loss. I feel like, you know, but if that's his decision, then I wish him and his family the best. But yeah, it is true that he went on Twitter and did say that he was retiring, which he's had 21 professional bouts and I don't know how many amateur fights. So I mean, he's had a long career.
Yeah, man. He's a great fighter, man. I hope he doesn't retire either. But you know, tough loss, and you know, emotions get to you sometimes, and that could just be it. But either way, definitely wish him and his family the best for sure. So, and what would you do to prepare for this fight? What was some of your training techniques or mindset going in?
So we focused a lot more. Any of my teammates that you ask will tell you if there's one thing about me, I am not afraid to step up and put foot to foot and just stand there and take shots and give shots. But in bare knuckle, that leads to a very long, very drawn out, and very short career. So we worked a lot more on head movement, a lot more on sticking my punches and getting in and out. And I mean, I learned a lot just from the last bare knuckle fight. Which I came off of an MMA camp going 30 days into the bare knuckle camp.
Mm-hmm.
And so this camp, we focused a lot more on just real quick, hard boxing combinations, a lot of head movement, working on slipping punches. And then when we realized he was a southpaw, we started running a lot of southpaw combinations, like you'll see in the fight where I slip the power left hook and throw the right to the body, and then right out the gate, I throw the leaping left to the straight right, under the rope, right hook. We worked those combinations endlessly for, I know, the last 2 weeks, to where I'm pretty sure I was running those combinations in my sleep. But just focused on a lot of head movement, a lot of footwork, because I wanted to go out there and, I mean, this is the ultimate form to show off your boxing skills, and I wanted to go out there and show that I wasn't just a brawler, that I could be a skilled boxer. Because there's a lot of talk about who's the better striker, the MMA fighter or the boxer. And I've told them countless times, they can put me in there with any boxer. They can catch hands just as quickly as any MMA fighter can. I'm here to prove that it's about the fighter, not about what style he takes.
Absolutely, man. No, I saw your footwork was fantastic. I was watching it very closely. You moving side to side, nice. The head movement, obviously, hitting your combinations, dodging punches. So whatever you guys did in that camp, man, keep it up, because it looked great, and you know, you took out a really good fighter, man. So like I guess next on the horizon for you, BKFC 8, or do we know yet? Or because I know he said Feldman says he wants to do them once a month.
Well, I'm definitely down. As of right now, I'm what you'd call a free agent. I haven't signed a contract for any multiple fights. I've been told by several of them that anytime they fight in Biloxi, they're having me on the card.
Right.
I told them I was willing to go anywhere and fight as long as the price was right.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, I'm actually supposed to be talking with some people from bare knuckle or at least they told me after the fight they were going to call and talk to me about some things later on this week. So maybe if anybody's following my social media, maybe they'll see some fight news then. But for right now, I'm sort of just enjoying. I've got 2 teammates, one that just came off of surgery and one that just came off of having a kid that's both wanting to they've both been cleared to get ready for a fight camp. So I'm hoping to get back into the gym and start helping them with their rounds and getting ready, and then just going to see what comes next, whether it's MMA or bare knuckle. If the price is right, I'm ready to fight.
Good for you, man. I like that mentality, man. So like let's say we talked about dream matches earlier. So let's today we're talking about a current guy on the BKFC roster that you'd be interested if the opportunity came. Who would you like to step in there with?
Well, and of course, this is dream matches. So if any of these guys hear this, I want them to know that this is in no way disrespect calling out. This is just, I would love the opportunity to fight them because they've made a name for themselves in the sport. But I fight at 165. I don't really know a lot of the guys that are fighting in that weight class right now. I know some 55ers and some 170s, but I think 2 of the guys that I would probably that we would probably put on a nice show would be Isaac. He fought Melvin Gillard. Isaac, and I'm probably going to butcher his name, Valley Flag.
Oh, dude, yeah, man.
And
yeah, boy could fight.
I think it would be an honor and a lot of fun to fight him just because he's a dog of a fighter, and I think it would be a great show. Melvin Gillard. Would be another. Mainly, I'm not the kind of guy to call out fighters. I'm just I want to fight somebody that's going to progress my career, whether win or lose. I mean, if I fight these guys, it brings my name up along with them, and I'm hoping to keep working towards eventually they offer me a shot at a 165 title if they're going to have a 65 title. And so I want to keep moving forward. I don't want to be the bland guy that says I'll fight anybody. I will fight anybody, and I've given them 3 weight classes I'll fight at. But if I had to pick some bare knuckle guys right now, I think me and Isaac would probably be one of the funnest fights. And then Elvin Burrito. I'm sorry, Elvin, if I'm butchering your name. They call him El Bandito. He fought Harris Stevenson.
Bandito, yeah.
There's been talk that some people on Facebook said that me and him would be a good fight, and I think we would too. So we're just gonna wait and see. The price is right. Like I said, I told him I don't care about opponents' names. It's just as long as I get to fight and keep moving forward.
Good for you, man. And we've already seen the crossover with Malignaggi. If you had to pick a crossover guy that you think would be a fun fight for you, who would that be from boxing?
From boxing, I'm not as well versed in. I'm not gonna lie. There's the few boxers that I know would probably rip me to shreds, and they're not in my weight classes. So like Canelo Alvarez and all of them, Lomachenko. I mean, those guys. Those are who I aspire to have hands like. So in UFC, there's some guys I would love to see make the step over to bare knuckle, like the Diaz brothers. I would love to see them. Now,
brawlers.
If I mean, me and Nate, we fought the same weight class as far as MMA. It would be a huge honor to fight one of the Diaz brothers, but and I say that with all respect, of course. But I definitely would have to get paid for that one. I'm not fixing to go in there with the risk of getting stalked and slapped and not get paid for it.
That's awesome, man. Really, really good choices, man. Yeah, I think I am very curious to see what Feldman is able to do with getting more of these crossover fighters, because I truly believe that bare knuckle is here now to stay, and it's definitely the future of the fight game, combat sports, because there's that open window. You could get the boxers in, you could get the UFC guys in, the Bellator guys in, and have that crossover dream matches, you know. And I think the Malignaggi and Lobov was just the beginning.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think there's going to be way more to come. And I definitely see you definitely being on these cards and being a part of it. And I'd love to see a 65 title, and you get that opportunity as well, man.
Well, I do know. I don't know who they signed. I do know that there was mention that over 26 contracts have been signed for BKFC. So be looking for some announcements, I'm sure soon, because they were calling folks and handing them out, left and right for some, and they
Awesome.
wouldn't ever say names, but they said some pretty big names were going to be coming to BKFC.
I believe it, man. I don't doubt it one bit. How could my listeners get a hold of you on social media? How could they find you so they could follow you and see, your vicious knockout that you had, and then anything coming up in the future for you?
You can follow me on Facebook. My fighter page is Kaleb Lionheart Harris. My regular Facebook page is just Kaleb Harris. You can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. Both are Lionheart2193. And those are the only social medias I really use other than Snapchat. But yeah, those follow me on those, and I accept all friend requests. I accept all follows, and most of the time I follow back. Just because without support and fans, I mean, we're just a couple of people swinging punches at each other, and nobody's gonna pay to watch it. So
Right, man. No, you got the right attitude, man. And I definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your day and your night for being on the podcast. Thank you so much, man.
man, it's been fun.
Yeah. And you're a real gentleman, man. I appreciate that. Great fighter, bright future ahead of you. You're gonna do great things, man. Stay positive, have a good attitude, and just like you have, and believe in yourself, never give up. And when the going gets tough, fight through it, man. You got this.
Yes, sir. That's you talk about that. That's something we talked about. There's a condition on any interview I start to do, and there's something I really want to tell the world about, and it's suicide and depression awareness. And this goes out to all listeners out there. I suffer from anxiety from time to time. I don't like to claim that I suffer from depression, because I know several people that have it way worse than me.
Hmm.
That there's days where they can't get out of bed, but I think that I don't suffer that bad from it because I have this sport to let it out. Um, and I thank God for Him letting me find this. So to anybody out there that may be on the fence, thinking that life's just getting too rough, or life's just the pain's too much, and that you want to stop, I'm here to tell you, look, message me. I'll talk to you. I've been there before where I thought I wanted to give up on everything, and I had family and friends, thankfully, that were there to help pull me down. And just know that no matter how bad things get, things can always turn around in the matter of time. If you ever decide to end it all, then there's no way that it can get better. So if there's anybody out there that's listening that's on the verge of doing the unspeakable, I want you to know I'm praying for you and that I'm here for you.
Kaleb, thank you, man, for those words. It really is important, and I'm sure it'll resonate well with my listeners. And I really hope that whoever hears this, whether they're suffering from something or somebody that they know, and they hear this, and that inspires them to reach out to you. And that's great, man. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah, it was my pleasure, man. I'm gonna be looking out for you, brother. Let's stay in touch, man. I'm looking forward for your next fight, and best of luck to you, man.
I appreciate it, man. You have a good night.
You too, brother. Take care.